with Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We begin with sad news. This noon out of Rome, one person has died just now, and as Nolan mentioned, Eric, the conditions this morning at 4:30 this morning, brutal.
Yeah, not favorable whatsoever. I mean, the extreme cold. I mean, when the wind chill is 10 below zero, that's very, very cold. In fact, right now, still at this hour, it is noontime. And the wind chill still at 8 degrees. So despite it even being bitter cold this morning, it is still bitter cold this afternoon with that feels like temperature. Now on paper, we are a little warmer at 18 degrees, expected to climb into the 20s this afternoon, but still again, those wind chills remain in the teens for much of the day today. So don't expect any very warm conditions during the daylight hours today. In fact, we zoom in here, we can see some of these temperatures mainly in the teens and 20s. In fact, we just hit 20 degrees in Westmoreland a few moments ago. Heading south, of course, in the hills, it's a lot more on the colder side. Unadilla at 14, same thing at Norwich at 16, and Morris at 14 degrees. So the radar right now is dry. We turn our attention to the west, and this is where our next weather maker begins to arrive. This is a clipper system bringing with it the chance for light to moderate snow this evening. We're not expecting a whole lot in terms of any accumulation from this system. You can see it beginning to arrive between 4 and 6 p.m. I'm thinking more toward 5 to 7. But either way, once this snow works its way in, it's going to dry up a little bit. We're going to see those temperatures actually climb overnight. And then we're going to see a much more impactful system for some of you tomorrow. We're going to dive into the impacts, the timing, the snowfall totals, everything you need to know tomorrow coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Well, you're not the only area to see a massive apartment fire overnight.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Clouds already continuing to move into our area, and with it, eventually some snow showers. Let's take a look right now at our snowfall forecast, impacts, and everything you need to know over the next few days. First, start out with the snowfall expected this evening through Wednesday morning. Not a whole lot. You see trace to 2 inches for the areas in light gray, 2 to 4 in the light blue. Today's impact, not really that high. Tomorrow, though, depending on elevation and location, you could see some higher impacts. 4 to 8 inches of wet snow in some higher elevations north of the Mohawk Valley. 2 to 4 generally in the light blue areas, and trace to 2 with a wet rain, wintry mix, slushy, overall just a pretty damp snowfall that'll likely not accumulate too much due to temperatures in the valley climbing above freezing. When it comes to timing, here's a look at our general idea. We have light snow arriving tonight. Impacts, again, not really that high. We're going to see a clipper system tomorrow bring widespread snow in the morning, afternoon, and evening. But again, it largely depends on location with the highest impacts. Here is a look at our map here, which showcases the highest impact zones. And you can use a scale here to kind of generally see what's going on. Basically, the areas north of the Mohawk Valley, due to upsloping, will see the most of the heavy, wet snow. This could produce slushy roads, tricky travel. As you head into lower elevations, the impacts get a whole lot less. In fact, once you hit the valley, we're not really expecting a whole lot of major accumulation. In fact, barely any at all. This is all, again, mainly driven by elevation. So in case you want to have a more detailed look at that map, we're always posting it on our social media. You can also check it out on our Facebook page as well. Bigger picture shows that system moving in from the west. This arrives this evening and tonight. And here comes that clipper system we've been mentioning right here. And notice, again, it's pretty widespread, but you got some rain mixing in with those warmer, above freezing temperatures arriving. And then following that, we're going to see some trailing lake effect. We'll dive into this, of course, as we head closer to tomorrow morning. We'll have a forecast, again, day by day for any daily snowfall potential. So here comes that snow this evening, upsloping, producing additional accumulations north. Then Wednesday, we start out with snow in the valley. It'll switch over to a rain, snow, sleet mix, just a wet mix of any type of winter weather here in the valley. Not a whole lot, though. But again, the highest impact zones you can see here, mainly just north of the valley. So a heads up for those of you traveling north, or if you live up north, that you could have some pretty slushy roads to deal with for the pretty much all day Wednesday. This is going to remain consistent until the Thursday hours, when we're going to start to see that lake effect work its way in. So again, you can see here on our forecast, we have snowfall chances pretty much every day. So as I just showed you, we have our snowfall maps for today, for tomorrow. Once Thursday comes around, we'll have a forecast for that. We're going to take it day by day. Again, we don't want to post a scary map with totals going up to 20 inches in some spots. We want to take it day by day, let you guys know what you're expecting every morning, every evening. So again, stay tuned for updates. But again, tomorrow we have some tricky travel up north.
Yeah, at least we're warming up to 25 today.
Yes, and even a little warmer tomorrow too, in the 30s.
Not too bad tomorrow. Eric, thanks. Well, this blast of arc, we keep mentioning it over and over, but those firefighters, very difficult conditions this morning, brutally cold.
Yeah, that's right. And as we've heard from them too, having impacts on, when it comes to fighting the fire, because I mean, try going outside at 10 below zero wind chill, then also having to fight a fire, not the best
Try to get
conditions.
those hydrants working too as well.
And a look at the temperatures right now, at least the wind chills still haven't really warmed up. There are still crews on scene there, and it has yet to really climb, that feels like temperature climb, above the single digits. Currently 8-degree wind chill at Rome right now. We remove the winds and we talk strictly temperature on paper, and we are in the teens, expected to climb into the 20s during this afternoon. But again, it will definitely not feel like the 20s out there today. But we are expecting some warmer temperatures ahead. We'll show that here in a second. Radar right now showing quiet conditions. To our west, though, is where our next weather maker approaches. Here's that snowfall now taking place in Toronto and in Erie, Pennsylvania, slowly approaching Buffalo. And of course, this will move in after sunset tonight. Following that, we are going to warm up. Believe it or not, the sun's going to set. We're going to climb in temperature. And then we're going to see the arrival of more impactful snow tomorrow, depending on location and elevation. We'll have all the details on travel impacts, timing, snowfall totals, and the type of snow you'll see, or you might even see a wintry mix. All that coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Sadly, this has been a day of
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. After a quiet and bitter cold stretch, snowfall is on our horizon, especially out in western New York right now. In the meantime, let's dive into what you can expect the next few days. First off, let's dive into today's forecast. This evening through tomorrow morning, trace 2 inches for a lot of the area, 2 to 4 inches in the light blue zones. This is what we are expecting in terms of light snow, an all snow event, by the way. And again, this does end by Wednesday morning. And then as we head into Wednesday morning through Wednesday evening, a more impactful system moves in depending on elevation. You can clearly see that here. Look at the Mohawk Valley, trace to 2 inches of snow, 4 to 8 inches or even more in the blue zone right here. And you can see 2 to 4 in the light blue zones. Either way, with this elevation-based system where you have all that snow getting lifted over these higher elevations due to upsloping, that's what's causing all that wet snow to fall in some of those spots. In the lower elevations, there's likely going to be a bit of a wintry mix with not a whole lot of any accumulation. But let's talk about the travel impacts. Tonight's lighter snow impacts not really that high, but still just make sure you're aware of the snowfall coming in. Widespread snow moves in for much of the day tomorrow, in fact, pretty much all day long. But it depends on where you are as to what type of impact you'll see. You can see here, the highest impact zones are in the red. See that right here in central Herkimer County, northern Oneida County, and then parts of northern Fulton County and southern Hamilton County here. As you head into the lower elevations, the impacts drop tremendously to the point where barely any impacts are expected in the Mohawk Valley. In fact, we can see this move in right here. So we have this first system moving in briefly tonight through early tomorrow. A more impactful Clipper system arrives here by Wednesday for pretty much the entire day. A few dry slots working in here and there, but overall pretty consistent snow with some lake effect on the backside of this system too. So we've got a steady slate of snow chances the next few days. So following the snow today, tomorrow, that widespread snow moves in at 6 a.m. This will start out likely almost as all snow, but then as we head throughout the afternoon, those temperatures begin to climb above freezing. Might see a bit of a sleety snow mix in the Mohawk Valley. I won't count out any impacts, but still, that snowfall accumulation not really going to be that high in the lower elevations. But as you head more up to the north here, you've got this wet, slushy snow mix, and it comes down pretty good throughout much of the day. Then that snow will work its way through. We cool back down again into the teens and 20s with some lake effect working its way through the area heading into Thursday. So your 7-day forecast, you can see here pretty much snow chances every single day this week into Sunday. So we'll take it day by day. We have our snowfall forecast for tonight and especially tomorrow. And then by tomorrow, I've got one for Thursday and vice versa. Taking it day by day, letting you guys know of the impacts. And again, mainly higher elevations north of the valley tomorrow impacts. And also some warmer temperatures too, eventually in the 20s and 30s, which might sound like a heat wave.
Yeah, at least no major storms in our near future.
Yes, no major storms.
Eric, thank you. Well, it is.
Meteorologist Bill Curtis for the first look at the forecast. Before we move to that, those temperatures were so cold overnight tonight.
Yeah, a lot of places were below zero to start out the morning. 0 to 5 below for most areas, especially to the north, where it's even colder. We're dealing with snow this evening, moving in from the west. It is widespread. It is not expected to cause any big problems. For most of us, it's a light coating, ½ an inch to an inch of snowfall. Higher elevations north of the Mohawk Valley, 2 to 4 inches this evening, so there will be a few slippery spots north of the Mohawk Valley. We are tracking a Clipper system that's going to bring widespread snow to the area. This is snowfall expected tomorrow morning through tomorrow evening. I added an 8 to 12 inch zone across parts of northern Herkimer, northern Oneida, and Hamilton counties. Otherwise, the forecast has been the same, with the lower elevations getting much less compared to the hilltops. It's still cold out there, temperature 22 degrees. As we head into this evening, again, we're tracking some snow, temperatures in the 20s. We're in the middle of a very active weather pattern. More snow is expected Thursday, some lake effect snow. We're going to look at the forecast coming up. Kristen, back to you.
Happening tonight, a special election to...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're tracking widespread light snow moving in. This is a live look from our downtown camera on the Nexus Center. And you can see a couple of flurries are starting to move in. The roads are fine for the time being. We could see a coating of snow on the roads. The snow is expected to be generally light. But again, even a small amount of snow could still cause a problem or two. I don't expect it to be a big deal heading into this evening. Again, the snow is moving in from the west, and it has a relatively minimal impact on travel here as we head into this evening and tonight. We do get a break in the snow overnight, and then it becomes widespread tomorrow morning. This is going to impact the morning commute. Widespread snowfall will continue throughout the day. There's going to be a huge disparity in impact between the lower elevations and the higher elevations. The higher elevations are expected to pick up several inches of accumulation throughout the day. The lower elevations will miss out on the brunt of this impact. In fact, for a time, this is expected to turn over to rain in some of the lower spots. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be traveling to or from hilltop locations tomorrow. Expect widely varying weather conditions. West Berlin 24 degrees, Deansboro 21, Dolgeville 19, Little Falls 20, Cross Southern Valleys, Sherburne 22, Cooperstown 22, and Oneida with 19. This is the beginning of a weather system called a Clipper. This is an area of low pressure that moves from west to east. It doesn't have as much energy compared to storms over the Atlantic Ocean. It doesn't have as much water to work with. but because we have the Great Lakes around here, some of these do produce some heavier snowfall, and it's very much location dependent. A south wind is prevailing ahead of this storm, and that creates a lot more snowfall north of the Mohawk Valley. And you'll see that on Skycast here as we head into tonight. Looking at scattered snow showers, temperatures will be in the 20s. And watch what happens tomorrow. Widespread snow breaks out in the morning. Notice this dark blue showing up north of the valley. This is the terrain effect here, that south wind moving over those hilltops, producing locally heavy snow. And that continues throughout the day. Notice the disparity between the valley locations and the hilltops north of the valley. Temperatures will be above freezing for a few hours in the lower elevations, and then the cold front rolls through. Snowfall accumulation, again, big differences here between the lower elevations, a choice to 2 inches versus the higher elevations north of the Mohawk Valley, as much as 8 to 12 inches of accumulation. The hilltops south of the valley, 2 to 4 inches. And again, even a few inches will make things pretty slippery because this will be a heavier wet snowfall. As we head into Thursday, there will be lake effect snow to follow. Those bands will be primarily south and west of Utica. This is the early call here for snowfall. Looks like that band is going to set up across southern Oneida County and into Madison County. And that narrow band of snow towards Syracuse, 6 to 9 inches of snow is possible. Snow showers tonight, low of 22. Tomorrow, widespread snow, temperatures in the mid-30s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. It's windy on Thursday, lake effect snow, 25. Friday, snow showers, 27. Another clipper arrives over the weekend, and this brings a significant drop in the temperature. It's cold heading into early next week. Temperatures in the teens during the day, overnight lows in the single digits. But at least it's positive. You're not seeing the negative signs here yet.
Sure, but low numbers are low numbers.
That's true.
All right, thanks, Bill. Brutal. Go look at the forecast.
As you can see, it's snowing across central New York, and the roads will be a little bit slippery here this evening, but we're not expecting too much accumulation. Well, we have a beautiful halo. You're just going to have to take my word for it because my graphics, for whatever reason, are not updating here. This is on Facebook, too. A beautiful halo spotted this morning with the sunrise from Nikki and Lee. Sorry about that. We are tracking widespread snow. This graphic is working. We're looking at widespread steady snow moving in from the west. And the snow is going to be around this evening, and it's not going to cause much of an issue. Different story tomorrow, though. The next weather system is a clipper, and that moves in Wednesday, producing widespread snow, especially in the higher elevations. That's the spot that's going to have the greatest impact. Temperatures are going to be in the 20s here over the next several days. The one exception is tomorrow. We should be above freezing into the mid-30s, especially in the afternoon. If you're taking the dog out for a walk this evening, temperatures will be in the 20s, light snow, chilly, but not as cold as the past couple of nights. Tonight's featured dog is Minka from Utica. If you want to be part of this, head to Skycast WKTV on Facebook. This is brought to you by Nissan. Kristen, back to you.
Bill, thank you. The Oneida County Health Department has moved into...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're tracking widespread steady snow this evening with heavier accumulation expected tomorrow. This is a live look in Cooperstown. And again, the snow is widespread this evening. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It is coming down, and it will for a period of time. But we can already see the back edge starting to work in from the west. So this is not something we'll be dealing with all evening long. But still, for an hour or two, a couple of slippery spots, especially untreated surfaces. This is just the beginning. The next system will be here tomorrow. That's expected to produce a steadier accumulation and more impact on travel, especially in the higher elevations. Here's a look at your travel impact again tonight. Some impacts from the snow, but we're not expecting much accumulation. Most areas less than an inch. Tomorrow, the snow is widespread, and the impact is going to vary quite a bit between the lower elevations and the higher elevations. Higher elevations will be very, very slippery. Lower spots, a mixture between rain and snow in the afternoon. We came close to the record low this morning. It got down to 2 below zero at Griffith and Rome. The record low, 5 below, set back in 2002. We broke a record on Friday, a 99-year-old record. This one was pretty close. So it is very unusual to get this cold this early in December. Whitesboro, 24 degrees. West Leyden, 19. Barneveld, 18 degrees. Bill and Old Forge, 17. Curtis, 16. Jeff and Mohawk with 20. Cooperstown, 22. Worcester with 21. So this snow we're experiencing this evening is the leading edge of what's called a clipper system. It's an area of low pressure swinging in from the west. These tend to be what we would call moisture starved compared to nor'easters, but because of the wind direction, we're going to see heavier snow in a very specific spot here, and that's north of the Mohawk Valley. Added off snow showers overnight. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s. Tomorrow morning, we start out with widespread snow. It begins before daybreak. It begins between about 5 to 6 a.m., so this will impact the morning commute. Snow will continue for most of the day north of the Mohawk Valley. It becomes lighter in the afternoon in the Mohawk Valley as temperatures climb above freezing. And then snow showers continue into tomorrow night. Accumulations for Wednesday, a trace to 2 inches across the thruway corridor, the Mohawk Valley, 2 to 4 inches expected south of the Mohawk Valley, as much as 8 to 12 inches across the northern Oneida, Herkimer, and Hamilton counties. We expect additional snow on Thursday, lake effect snow, as the winds pick up, colder air spills in. The bulk of this looks to be south and west of Utica. The early call here is 3 to 6 inches of snowfall for southern Oneida and Madison County, with a locally heavier zone between as much as 6 to 9 inches or more heading towards Syracuse. And the Mohawk Valley could pick up 1 to 3 inches of snow additionally as we head into Thursday from the lake effect. Snow showers tonight, low of 22. Tomorrow, widespread snow. Travel looks trickiest in higher elevations, 36. It's a windy and cold Thursday with lake effect snow, 25. Light snow showers return Friday. Another clipper arrives over the weekend, followed by colder weather and snow both Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures in the teens as we start out early next week. We'll be right back.
Bill Kardich with a first look at the forecast.
So we're tracking snow moving through central New York this evening. It is coming down at a good clip, but the back edge of this is already starting to move into parts of our area. So this is a fast-moving, quick burst of snow this evening. It is coming down. It's going to make things slippery for the next hour or two, but there will be a break here heading into tonight. Widespread snow works in tomorrow, and the snow tomorrow is expected to accumulate to several inches, especially north of the Mohawk Valley. This is where we're expecting as much as 8 to 12 inches throughout the day for northern Oneida, northern Herkimer, and Hamilton counties. In the lower elevations, including the Mohawk Valley, again, accumulations tomorrow look to be generally light, a trace to 2 inches of snow. Snowing out there this evening, 20 degrees, and again, that snow will continue. It does come to an end here as we head into the next couple of hours, but it does have impact on travel. We're talking about tricky travel tomorrow. I'm going to look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Today marks one.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Kardis.
Tracking widespread snow moving through central New York this evening. This is not going to last all evening long. For most of us, this will be wrapping up in the next hour, but it is enough to make the roads slippery. We're expecting accumulations to be generally less than an inch. But as you can see, it is having an impact on travel. It's a live look in downtown Utica. The back edge of the snow is quickly moving into Oneida County, the western part of the county. In fact, I'll show you how things have been progressing over the last hour. You can see things are moving along pretty quickly, but there's also some dark blue here. So where it is snowing, it is coming down at a good clip, and it is certainly impacting travel. The snow does come to an end over the next hour or two, and driving conditions will be easier. So if you have any flexibility in your schedule this evening, you might want to wait for this to blow through and the roads to improve. Tomorrow, it's going to be very tricky just depending on where you live. The lower elevations won't see a huge impact on travel, but the higher elevations will throughout the day. By the way, this morning we came close. We almost broke the record low. 5 below zero, set back in 2002. Got down to 2 below zero. Skywatchers checking in. Whitesboro 24 degrees, West Leyden 19, Old Forge 17, Cooperstown Stewart with 22. This leading edge of snowfall is part of a warm front that is attached to an area of low pressure called a clipper system. This will be moving through tomorrow, and the snow again will gradually end this evening. Temperatures will be in the 20s. Widespread snow returns before daybreak, and the snow comes down steady throughout most of the day, especially in the higher terrain. With that south wind, there's going to be heavier snow north of the Mohawk Valley due to localized terrain effect called upslope. So we head into tomorrow evening, cold front rolls through. temperatures will start to fall. Heavy accumulation expected in those northern zones, those higher elevations north of the Mohawk Valley, as much as 8 to 12 inches for northern Oneida, northern Herkimer, Hamilton County, a trace to 2 inches for the New York State Thruway, the Mohawk Valley, 2 to 4 inches across the southern valleys. Lake effect snow is expected to develop in the wake of this system. The winds pick up, temperatures fall throughout Thursday. That lake effect band looks like it's going to set up very close to southern Oneida and Madison County, with the steadiest snow could produce as much as 6 to 9 inches or more of snowfall. It looks like those bands will stay just south of Utica. The Mohawk Valley still picks up some snow on Thursday, but it looks like the steadiest of which will be just to the south and west. And again, we'll continue to keep an eye on that and update you as we get additional data. Snow showers tonight, low of 22. Widespread snow tomorrow, 36 for the high. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. It's a busy stretch of weather. It's windy, it's cold Thursday, lake effect snow. Another clipper arrives over the weekend, bringing widespread snow and a drop in temperature and some lake effect. Temperatures will be in the teens to start out early next week.
You wanted to make it colder than it is.
At least there's no negatives.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill. Still to come on News Channel 2 at 6. Meteorologist Bill Cardis. You know, weather affects so many people in so many different ways, whether you're going out just to walk the dog, or in this case, if you are first responders in a situation like that. And we've been dealing with some pretty chilly temperatures lately.
Yeah, it's been very, very cold. We do get a break from the cold, but it does come at a cost with some snow. This was the sunset this afternoon. Kind of looks like a candle. Yeah, it kind of looks like a candle.
Very cool.
This picture from Michelle in Litchfield. This is caused by reflection of ice crystals. It's called a sun pillar, but that was a really neat take to that. So we appreciate those photos and the atmospheric optics. I'm running out of room here, so this is all from Stuff the Bus. We appreciate your generosity. All these toys, it's a good thing. Temperatures are in the low 20s this evening. We did see a round of snow earlier today. It brought an inch of accumulation for many areas, and it was slippery for a time, but that has since gone away. Just a few lingering snow showers to the north. Snow does return early tomorrow. It's going to be widespread, and we're expecting tricky travel, especially in the higher elevations. Lake effect snow will continue into Thursday, so it's widespread tomorrow, and it becomes more localized here for Thursday. Snow develops tonight. Temperatures will very slowly rise overnight. We're looking at temperatures above freezing as we head into tomorrow. Again, a rain-snow mix for the lower spots. So look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New tonight, Oneida County.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. The roads have gotten a lot better compared to what we saw earlier this evening. We did have that snow on the roads. A quick burst of snow produced about an inch of accumulation in Utica. And again, the roads are wet, at least the main roads. Side roads are still a little slushy, and travel is going to be impacted again tomorrow. We are tracking pretty quiet conditions out there right now. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Our travel impacts, again, light snow tonight and becomes widespread tomorrow, and travel will be impacted, especially in higher elevations. And even just a couple of inches of snow will be a lot like today. We only had an inch of snow, but it did have an impact on travel. It's that denser, heavier type of snow. It has more consistency to it compared to lake effect, where even just an inch of lake effect isn't a big deal. An inch of this type of snow is going to have a greater impact, and again, that's going to continue throughout most of the day. We are tracking a clipper system. It's an area of low pressure that works in from the west, strong south wind ahead of it, and it will continue to produce widespread snow throughout the day tomorrow. So we start out tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., snow moves in. The snow will be arriving around 5 to 6 a.m. It comes down heavy at times in the morning, especially north of the Mohawk Valley. That's where the snow bands will be most consistent. Snow will continue throughout a good portion of the day. In the lower elevations, it does back off a bit. So it's not going to snow all day in the lower spots, but the hilltops will see the snow continue. That's because the winds move upward. They move over the mountains and produce extra snow with that south wind. Cold front moves through, temperatures will start to cool down in the evening. We're thinking a general 4 to 8 inches of accumulation north of the Mohawk Valley. There will be some localized higher totals here too, as much as 8 to 12 inches. The Mohawk Valley, only a trace to 2 inches of snow is expected. The lower elevations getting far less snow. compared to the hilltops. 2 to 4 inches expected across the hilltops south of the Mohawk Valley. Tomorrow night, the wind direction changes. Lake effect snow will be developing for Thursday, and the bands are going to be primarily from the northwest. This keeps snow generally south and west of Utica. For Thursday, an additional 1 to 3 inches of snow region-wide, with the snow concentrated in southern Oneida and Madison County, where as much as 3 to 6 inches of snow could fall, with locally higher totals, 6 to 9 inches, right along that county line between Oneida and Madison County. Tonight, light snow breaks out, a low of 22. Tomorrow, steady snow mixing in with rain showers in the lower elevations. Again, tricky travel in the hilltops, 36. Windy with lake effect snow on Thursday, 25. The weather stays pretty active. Another clipper system arrives late Friday into Saturday. This produces more widespread snow, some lake effect snow Sunday, colder weather, temperatures in the teens by Monday, and back into the low 20s on Tuesday. We'll be right back.
Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. Bitter cold temperatures makes it rough for everybody out there. But
yeah,
my goodness, this looks like a flame.
Yeah, it looks
there.
like just a lighter right here, a candle. This is a beautiful shot. This is from Mickey. This was taken today in Litchfield. The afternoon sunset just before 4:30. This
pillar?
is a sun pillar. Yeah, it's caused by reflection of ice crystals on sunlight, and yeah, really neat capture. You often see these in the wintertime because there's more ice crystals in the sky compared to the summer. By the way, our weather center has been taken over by the toys. We love seeing this. For those of you that have donated to Stuff to Bus, we thank you so much for your generosity. Current temperature 25 degrees, cloudy skies. We've been seeing some light snow earlier this evening. It was enough to cause slippery spots. We picked up an inch of accumulation here on Smith Hill. And again, it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to make things slippery. And we're going to be seeing more of the same tomorrow in the lower elevations. The higher spots get a lot more snow, and tricky travel is expected throughout a good portion of the day, especially in the higher elevations. Lake effect snow on Thursday will be widespread, and that will also cause issues traveling. Tonight, snow develops. Temperatures will be in the 20s. We are tracking snowfall accumulation. A look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New tonight, Oneida County is warning residents.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. It looks a lot different than it did just a couple of hours ago. The roads were snow covered. The snow is coming down hard. We picked up an inch of accumulation, but it wasn't enough to cause issues. It's all about how fast the snow comes down. You have snowfall rates over an inch per hour, it does cause issues. And I think we're going to be seeing some of that again tomorrow. So if you're driving tonight, this is not expected to become an issue here, but it will be a different story tomorrow. Live look at the airfield battery, Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Things look pretty quiet. Some light snow will be developing overnight. And again, not having a huge impact on travel. But tomorrow it's going to be a different story, especially in higher elevations. These areas will see a slushy, slippery snowfall, and it's going to pile up in the higher spots. It's going to continue throughout the day, so keep that in mind. Also, it's not you. It's not just you, I should say. December has been really cold, about 13 degrees below average. It's only been 9 days, but we are running a huge deficit. This is something that's just not sustainable statistically, but we will likely finish below average throughout the month just because of how cold of a start we've had. It's really hard to overcome numbers like that. Bigger picture shows a clipper system moving in from the west, and again, the cold weather is going to be here to stay. We do get a break in the cold tomorrow. Temperatures at least climb above freezing. We're looking at widespread snow that breaks out overnight, late tonight. And this is going to be problematic for the morning commute. Again, widespread steady snow. The lower elevations, travel won't be too bad, but the hilltops, it's going to be very slippery throughout the day. Temperatures will be in the mid-30s. Temperatures will continue to stay above freezing until a cold front arrives tomorrow night, and that will kick off some lake effect for Thursday. Before we go there, let's take a look at snowfall tomorrow. We're going to trace the 2 inches of snow at the lower elevations, not as much of an impact, but look at how it changes going north. That south wind's going to squeeze the moisture out of the air and produce some locally heavy snow, as much as 8 to 12 inches in northern Oneida, Herkimer and Hamilton counties, 2 to 4 inches of snow expected along the hilltops south of the Mohawk Valley. Lake effect snow will develop on Thursday. The primary wind direction favors Madison and southern Oneida County. A general 1 to 3 inches of snowfall Thursday for most of central New York, but again in that consolidated band, that steadier band, as much as 6 to 9 inches close to the Oneida-Madison County line. Snow showers tonight, low of 22. Tomorrow, widespread snow, slippery spots, especially the higher elevations. It's windy, it's cold. Thursday, lake effect snow. Snow showers continue Friday as well as Saturday. Another clipper arrives. It produces lake effect snow and cold weather Sunday. And cold weather, and on and on and on we go.
You feel like it feels more like mid-January than it does early
We
December?
have not even arrived to the first day of winter, at least on paper.
But meteorological winter is here.
Well,
for
that's
sure.
what we keep telling ourselves.
That's
yeah.
right. All right, thanks, Bill. Coming up next, we aren't the only ones dealing